How to lose a scholarship in 5 ways. Do you want a scholarship? You got a scholarship. I'm bringing my talents to South Beach. Let's get a scholarship. That's college scholarship. My boy's going to college. I'm going to college, Dad. Oh my God, I didn't get into the college I want. I guess I'm going to go work at McFriendly's. It's a bad version of McDonald's. Hi, everybody. Tennis coach Connor Casey here. How to lose a scholarship in 5 ways. Now, the college scholarship. Whether you're a tennis player, a football player, water polo, the college scholarship is the holy grail of a high-performance athlete. Everybody wants one. They're not that easy to get. Today I'm going to teach you some insider tricks on how to get the school of your dream. When I was a junior tennis player, I was ranked number 4 in Canada. Coming out of the juniors, I thought getting a scholarship was going to be a piece of cake. I'm lucky to have survived the process. It was full of big bad wolves, enemies, liars, thieves, cheats. The whole thing was a gosh darn bucket of trouble, and I'm surprised that I even survived it. But I ended up at the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss, number 3 in the country. We were damn good. It went Stanford, Georgia, Ole Miss. I got to be on that team. To be honest, I probably wasn't even good enough for the team. But because of some guidance and learning from my mistakes, I was able to end up at that school, and I want to share a bunch of tips with you on how to get to the school of your dream. I call it the 5 C's of college recruitment. If you're mindful of these 5 C's, I think you might end up at the school of your dreams. Let's get started. The first C, composure. College coaches are looking for someone with composure. Yes, they care about your results. They care that you're a hard worker. They care if you got talent and you look cool and your hat's on sideways and you look cool. You're just damn cool. You get it. They like that. They love that. But what they really like is composure. If you're going to throw your racket in front of a college recruiter, they ain't taking you. They don't care if you even won the nationals. If you snap a racket in front of a recruiter, no bueno. They need to know that you've got composure, because composure often means that you're coachable. These coaches see a group of kids like you every year. They just need to know that you're not going to be a headache, because they know that the pressures of college are coming up. It's going to be tough for you. It's going to be a lot of stress, a lot of new things happening in your life. And if you're not composed, they know you're going to be a headache, and they don't want that. So even if you lose, trust me, it's okay to lose in front of a college recruiter. Just don't go snapping rackets in front of college recruiters. Oh man. Number 2, compassion. Think about the college recruiting process like a dating show, like a reality dating show on Netflix. You got all these schools that you're trying to hook up with. They're trying to hook up with all these players. There's all this overlap happening. But at the end of the day, the reality show is college. So all these relationships that you're making with these coaches and players, all these relationships are going to come with you when you go to school. Example, when I was in the recruiting process, there was a time when the phone wasn't ringing, but one school was calling me, Indiana State University. Now, the sycamores, what do I got to do with a sycamore? A tree? I'm not going to Indiana State. But hey, I kept running them on because they were the only school calling. I liked hearing that they thought I was good. I kept leading them on. And then at the last second, I went to Ole Miss University because I'm way too good for Indiana State. Well, the next year when I started at Ole Miss, who's the first school I had to play? That's right, the Sycamores. I had to play their number 1, their top senior, first match of college. I come in, this freshman dressed in my Ole Miss cavalry, red and white and blue, and I got this Sycamore. This guy looks like he's coming out of bum fights, this senior, 4 years of college. I look at him, I look at the coach who I'd been talking to on the phone, and it was very clear that they had vengeance on the mind. They wanted my blood. They wanted my head on a stake. To this day, I've never played against somebody more motivated to kick my ass. I realized right there that the rivalries that you create in the recruiting process come with you to school. So make sure that you're compassionate during the recruiting, because these people, you're going to be seeing a lot of them for the next 4 years. Number 3, the third C, contract. Ladies, gentlemen, there's no such thing as an oral contract. There's no such thing as a verbal commitment. There's no such thing as an email that's binding you as long as the two of you spat on the monitor. None of that stuff matters. All that matters is the contract. I learned this the real hard way. A week before the signing date, I don't have a school. Vanderbilt University calls me up. Now, this is the top school on my dad's list. My dad from New York City. Oh my God, I love Vanderbilt. That's the top school. I haven't seen him that happy since they opened up a Cinnabon at our mall. Oh, Cinnabon. Oh, I like those. Ooh, that's my favorite, Cinnabon. So my dad was ecstatic, okay? Vanderbilt called me. They go, hey, listen, signing date is coming up fast. We'd love to have you in January. I'm going to give you a full ride. Yes, that's correct. The University of Vanderbilt offered me a full ride. Starting in January, full ride. Now that's the cat's pajamas. That's the bee's knees. That's what you want as a player. You want a full ride, bitch. Of course I said yes. He said, I'll fax you the papers. I went and told everybody. I told my local newspaper. I told everybody at my academy. I got a full ride to Vanderbilt University. Wait in a couple days. Where's that contract? Check the fax machine. Have Dylan and Lyndon been playing with the fax machine again? Get them off. All they do is play Space Quest. Where's the contract? The day before early signing, I get a phone call from Ken Flack, Vanderbilt University. Hey, Connor, little bit of a hiccup here. Oh, I love hiccups. Yeah, so we still want you to come to the school. But remember how I told you it was a full ride starting in January? Yeah, so that's really a 50% scholarship. And then starting next year, it's just a 50%. So it's a full ride for half the year, and then it's a 50%. Oh, thank you, Ken. Well, of course we turned that down because nobody can afford to go to Vanderbilt unless you're getting a full ride. And if you can, you're not watching this video because you don't care about getting a scholarship. Nevertheless, don't count your tennis balls before you crack the can. Get it in writing before you do anything. And even then, the school's program could get cut. So really, I wouldn't say you're on a tennis scholarship until you're in that white van on your way to play the first match. The fourth C, culture. Every school has its own unique culture. You got the team culture. Are the players on the team your type of person? Very important to do the recruiting trip to find that out. I was lucky at Ole Miss University. It was a team of Swedes. Very easy to get along with. Very easy to get along with if you're an Irish, Italian, Jew like myself, okay? Another culture is a culture of the state. This is very, very important for people outside of America to understand. The South, the North, very different places, two completely different countries, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into bashing the South or the North. All I can say is I didn't know that Ole Miss was the way it is. When I went on my recruiting trip, it was one day during spring break. None of the students were there. I didn't see any of the good old boys or the Southern Belles or the people walking to church. I just thought it was America. When I showed up in the fall, I had massive culture shock because I was a Toronto raver. I had my Junko jeans, my Echo sweatshirt, my drum embrace, Nicky Black Market, big up the tunes, big up the tracks. That does not translate to the culture of the South. That resulted in a very lonely social life. Many lonely nights. Many nights in the dorm room, talking on ICQ. Your whole life becomes that little indicator on MSN Messenger, or nowadays it'd be the DM, or whatever the heck. You're gonna be doing a lot of long distance love if you can't integrate into the social life. And I couldn't do that because I didn't take read of the culture. Be mindful of the culture of the school. Go somewhere where you feel like you can blend in. Number 5, the 5th C, coach. Now, when I'm talking about the coach, I'm not talking about whether you like him or hate him. Of course, that's very important. I don't imagine you'd go to a school where you didn't like the coach. But coaches are very different when they're recruiting than when you go there. There are generally 2 types of coaches. I experienced both of them. When I went to Ole Miss, I had Coach Billy Chadwick, a beautiful recruiter. The guy looked like a lion. He had this glowing golden mane. He was a rock star. He was just golden. What he did was, he was what I would call a recruiting coach. He recruited great players and he made sure that the vibes were chill. He didn't do a lot of developing us. He didn't really try to work on our games. He just made sure that we had what we needed to play our best tennis. Now, in retrospect, I didn't realize it at the time, but I needed to develop. I thought I was a finished product. Turns out when I got to college, I needed to learn what a forehand was. Now, I ended up transferring to the Ohio State University, where Ty Tucker was the coach. Ty Tucker was that second type of coach, which I call a development coach. Ty Tucker was the type of coach who recruited talent. He recruited players that he saw something in, and then he worked you into the ground to turn you into a tennis player. That's what I needed. I didn't realize it until 1 year of college. Maybe if I had known, I would have gone to that team earlier, but they had no money. Long story short, you got a recruiting coach, you got a development coach. Figure out which one you want and go to the school that you think you need, okay? So there it is. You got the 5 C's of the recruiting process. You got composure. Don't throw a racket in front of a coach. You got compassion. These relationships are going to stick with you. Be nice. You got 3, a contract. Sign it before you buy it. Number 4, culture. Beware of the South. And number 5, the coach. Which one do you want, the recruiter or the developer? By being mindful of these 5 C's, I think the recruiting process will be a lot easier on you. It's okay to make mistakes during this thing. And nowadays they got the transfer portal. So if you end up at the wrong school, it's not the end of the world, okay? If you have any stories about college that you'd like to share with me, any questions about the recruiting process, and above all, stories. I love hearing funny stories about college tennis. Put them in the comments and let me know and I'll happily reply. Also, follow me on Substack. I got a comedy tennis book coming out that outlines all the crazy stories I had in college tennis. A lot of the crazy stuff that happened at the Ohio State University when I was on the Bad News Buckeyes. That was the last Buckeye team before they became a dynasty. Now they're always ranked number 1, but when I was there, we weren't, and I'll tell you why, okay? Follow me on Substack. Follow me on Instagram at Tennis Coach Connor Casey. Arrivederci. Good luck in college.